What do you say about the parent role going through the draft?
Yeah, go ahead.
If it seems like you already know what I'm going to say, so go for it.
Well, the parent role is just really to support and not to let them get away from themselves, right? Like I think it's important to let your kid dream. But here's the thing, right? Like the role with a parent is actually very important how you approach this thing, right? So if your kid seems to be like a good player, like that has a very good chance of getting drafted. Here's the thing: when you watch your kid play hockey, this is the easiest way I could say this and I'll sound like an asshole at first. When you watch your kid, if he's not one of the best players on the ice every single night, he probably won't get drafted. How's that? That's reality. The only way that changes is that if there's a work ethic or something that is an intangible um, that someone else sees, but you probably you probably won't. You as a parent, you shouldn't be too excited at that point because that's a burger flip there, right? If you're the best player on the ice every night, because every team, not every team, teams a good an average team. If you have a couple kids drafted, that's a goal. That's a win. So if your kid's not one of the best players on the ice every single night, that's an indication they probably won't get drafted. So now you can calm your kid down. Can help to get better. Now the goal is now the question is it your dream or is it the kid's dream? Are you pushing your kid so that you get them so you get drafted so you feel good? Right? So that's number one. When you have a kid, and so let's say you don't know those rules. First of all, let the kid enjoy hockey. Let the kid enjoy hockey. Let them have fun. But you're there to guide them. And that's what I would say to every parent at every point. You're just there to guide them. So if your kid is obsessed with getting in the OHL draft, he's like, and you know he's not, like, I don't know why he would get drafted, or you're sitting there going, I hope it works out, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. He has a dream, and that's okay. You're there. You should support it. But you have to put some velvet around the sledgehammer, right? So explain to the kid to work, to dream, and what could go right, what could go wrong. Are you not to say that you're painting a negative picture, but you have to also set up the stage for being realistic, right? And teach them about the long road. Teach them about the long road. That if it doesn't, teach them that this is short term thinking about the draft, which is important to you. I want you to do everything you can. Point out that if they are you working out? Are you doing the things? And then look at the long-term thing, right? Like if you do get drafted first overall or not drafted at all, nothing should ever change. They should be working, and it's a long-term game anyways. So parents' job is, in my opinion, is to support. Don't let their head get too big. Like especially someone that is like, the talk of the town everywhere. Like it's easy to think that you're real good, right? So a parent's job is to kind of hopefully rein that in and let them know that a lot of things can change and
So
it's a long term game.
what does support look like versus just like adding pressure? So like if you're having like conversations with your kid, where's the line of like supporting him? Talking about the thing he cares about. The kids that love hockey want to everything's about hockey all the time. How do you balance? I want to talk to him about it and support it and let him explore that passion or that dream without going into pressure territory. Everything's always about hockey 24/7. They can never breathe. It's just always in their face. Like what is that? What are the differences there from your perspective?
Well, I think what you said it is everything's in your face, right? Like the pressure from parents will come when you talk about how important, like you talk about how important this year is. When you start talking about this is a big year, like for who? It's a big year. Why? It is a big year, but like it's a big year. It's a big game. It's a big term. It's a big this. It's a big that. You got to be ready. Giving you all these cues on how important something is. That's where the pressure comes from, I think, from parents. Or the next set of pressure would be like after a game or before going to the game, you better have a good game, or you need to have a good game because people are watching. That's where the pressure comes from. After the game, if it's you get in the car and you look like you're weaned on a dill pickle because of the way he played, or you start saying it didn't work very hard, this, that, the other thing, then you're adding something that they don't need to hear. So I think that's where it comes from. I think it's very, very important to understand that, and I can say this as a player, I can say it as a coach, and I can say it as a dad. No matter how bad I want it for my kid, he's got to want it. And That's just the bottom line. And for those who want it, they figure it out. And sometimes the lessons are harsh, right? Because things don't always go your way, but that's part of the learning piece, right? It's like, okay, I really want this. I thought, but I didn't do this. Or, oh, I need to be better at this, or it's going to take me longer. But they have to figure it out. And if they have the desire to do it, they will. It has nothing. It has nothing to do with parents, man. Like I say that like in a weird way. It, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. You can't push a wet noodle, right? You can't play pool with a rope, right?
I think the way that I am thinking about it just as you're talking is I feel like the parent's job, the reason I think of it this way, because I think this as a coach too, is you want to create stability for the kid. So the reason I say that is because talking to a lot of these kids, it's amazing to me like how fast they go from an extreme positive to an extreme negative to an extreme positive, like the emotional swings and the timeline over which that happens. It could be the matter of 2 days. Like everything's the best, and then 2 days later, it's like everything's the worst. And they don't have a good perspective on the time horizon for things happening. So I feel like part of my job this will kind of segue me into the coaching part of it, but part of my job I feel like is to create stability and get them to see that, the cliche, don't get too high, don't get too low, and try to keep the ship kind of steady for each of these kids in the moments where I can do that. And I feel like that is what the parent role kind of is. They have to figure it out. They have to be the ones that want to do it or not. And I think the job of the parent, the way that I see it, at least my opinion, is just stabilize that journey for them a little bit. Take out some of the highs and lows and keep it a little bit level.
Yeah. So I had a player in here the other day asked to talk to me. So the question was, I know that it was interesting concept. I know that psychologically, how do I deal with this on the bench? I'm not the number one player. I'm a little lower on the totem pole, but I understand that is what the player said. I said, okay, but it's still hard because I want to play, but I know where I stand on the team. But how do I get through it? Like, and it was back and forth like that. They were trying to get it out of their system, but I understand. I know exactly where I stand on the team. So I said to this player, I said, okay, because this is like being a parent right now, right? That could be your kid saying the same thing. So you can bullshit and say you just keep working hard or come up with a bunch of stuff that doesn't mean anything. But the first thing I said, okay, like number one, you have the right to be upset because this player felt like maybe there's something wrong. Maybe there's something wrong with me feeling selfish, more or less, right? And I'm not being a team person, but I want to do better. So they're like, I don't know if I should feel like that. So I said, you should feel like that. You should be very competitive. You should want every piece of ice. You should be upset that you're not playing as much, even though you know that you're not the best player on the team. It's okay to feel like that. So that's number one. I gave him freedom to feel like you could be upset, right? Number two, I said, I want you to think about something. When you came to this academy at the end of the summer to now, how much improvement have you made? And the player goes, like a lot. I said, yeah. I said, so what we tend to forget a lot of the times is where we came from to where we are. And I would say that with a lot of players. Where you are, especially when you've done the work and you see the improvement, don't think that you should just, not because I don't mean this in a bad way, just because you made improvement, you feel like you're better now, that you should be on the ice all the time. Other people have improved too. But I said, look at the improvement. And this person goes like, yeah, like it's huge. Like I can't even believe it. I said, okay, let's celebrate that. Like you've done something phenomenal here. Now, can we do that? And they're like, yeah, I think so. I said, yeah, you got to be very proud of that, proud of what you've done. And know that if you put that same effort in, like who knows where this is going to take you, because it's leaps and bounds above everybody, to be honest with you. And the player's like, I agree with you. I said, okay, so now the next thing would be, if you put the same effort in or the same attitude and were willing to grind for the next year, two, where would that take you? And they were like, wow, like really? I said, yeah. So it's really easy to look at negative, right? It's really look and to put pressure on you to make something happen now. I said, we can set a short-term goal though. Who's the person on the team that you think that you can maybe beat out of a spot in the next month or two? So the player gives me a name. I said, then go do it. And I said, by the way, the person that you just said, I love that kid. I know. I said, but so it's not a bad thing. I said, this is what hockey is. It's a competition. It's taking jobs and getting jobs taken away. So, but they're one of my best friends. I said, I know. I said, but that's not what this is about. I said, because what'll happen when you push is you're going to push yourself. And if they see them pushing, you're going to push them. And in turn pushes the whole team. And I said, that's what hockey's about. But I said, you got to take care of yourself here. So that's the parenting role of that, is that you can either put pressure or you can help find solutions. And that's what we try to do. So when the kids play in the game and, they're talking about getting drafted and stuff, it's like, be as real as you possibly can, but give them a reward if they're doing something well, right? You're playing really well. You're working on this, but let's look at this long term.